like the water cooler, you be on the benches. Think your team better, but they lack skill. First snap, I lay your backs in the backfield. Your quarterback scared, I see it in his eyes. Sent the receiver in motion, that's just a disguise. My linebackers, they stepping up. Clog a hole, no letting up. Taking on them big blocks. On fourth down, we get big stops. My secondary is balling out. Your offense keeps stalling out. How many yards? Like none at all. Call the special teams, come punt the ball, and it's gone. And you never see me fair catch. I get a block and then I'm gone like a Learjet. My helmet on, pass strap tight. My jersey shining in them Friday night lights. Win, we just came to win. Win, we just came to win. Friday night lights. Friday night lights. Win. We just came to win. Win. We must protect this house. I'm in a huddle talking to the Hawks. We gonna run it down their throat soon as we get the ball. Come out and fire off the ball, we going on one. My skill position so proficient, break for long runs. Come out running that option. That mean I got the option to keep that or pitch that. Defense, they gotta fix that. Four receivers, we spread them out in the shotgun. Hot reads, I got some. My tight end so awesome. Touchdowns, I toss some. We score 6, scoreboard, that score 6. Respect the ball, we protect the ball. We don't fumble, no throw picks. I feed my linemen pancakes, so all they blocks are pancakes. Push you around like all night. End of the game, get your handshakes, huh? My helmet on, pass strap tight. My jersey shining in them Friday night lights. Win. We just came to win. Win. We just came to win. Friday night lights. Friday night lights. Win. We just came to win. Win. We must protect this house.
And welcome to Friday night postgame, the Ronaldo Automall postgame show. We have the one and only Kevin Hastings on the mics, and then we have our dear Reverend Dennis Davis in the house as well.
Well, JP, when we started the pregame show, Shannon was by himself. Right now, I'm all by myself. My team lost tonight. Almost all of our teams lost tonight. That sits at this table on Friday nights, but Terry's team did not. And tonight, folks, you are going to be listening to Rebel Radio, KTCBroadcasting.com. Terry's been hyped up all day. A lot of red up there in Vail. For the first time ever, Vail and the West Lincoln Rebels hosted a playoff game. Not even before this season, maybe even halfway through the season, or any year prior to this, Dennis. If I came to you and made a bet, if you had a pool, you put the pool on the board, who might play who.
Yeah.
At any time, if you would have got picked and drew out of the hat, one day, this year, South Point will be playing in Vail. That was your game. How would you feel about that draw? In the playoffs.
Yeah.
Not in the first round. In the second round. In Vail. They've never played each other before at all. And they had to go to West Lincoln, and the Rebels fire the cannons tonight and knock out the Red Raiders. And not only that, Dennis, that gives the Red Raiders a losing season on the year at 6-7. Rebels advance to Shelby next week on KTC Broadcast. What a night in Vail. There's going to be some bonfires and parties up there tonight, folks.
My congratulations to the Rebels.
Y'all thought the Cat Square Parade was a party. Tonight,
it's going to be a raucous. And Terry, congratulations to you and your West Lincoln Rebels. Hats.
Did you check on the North Lincoln? How many have they lost? They lost one. So coming into tonight, Dennis.
Yeah.
6 of the 8 teams in this 2A bracket had combined to win 24 championships between them. But only one of them came into tonight, never lost at home in the playoffs. That was the Rebels.
Because they only won.
And they never played at home. But it didn't matter because they knock off the Red Raiders. And let's repeat again. the Red Raiders in the playoffs. That's going to be a long ride back to Belmont tonight. For you folks, for you Red Raider fans listening tonight, our apologies to that. Welcome to Vail. Terry's walking around with his 1-0. He's excited about tonight. All right, we got all kinds of other scores. We're going to get to those just a second. They're not all in. We can give you some of the ones that are. Let's do that real quick for some of our local ones. Across the board, Thomas Jefferson 40-0 over Albemarle in the 1A. Elkin 41-13 over Andrew. Charlotte Catholic beats Huss tonight 34-20, and that means they will host West Rowan. Is that right?
I don't know which
Yes,
board are
I'm
you
looking
on?
at it right here. I'm all over the place,
Oh,
Dennis. Don't you worry about what board I'm on.
Okay.
So what I'm at right now, I just wanted to make a point. Like next week, we were hoping to have Huss and Crest
Well, you
and
can
Dennis.
have, you can have Catholic in West Rowan.
Yes, we can.
Kevin,
Dennis,
I'm
what
a
happened
big,
up there at Crest tonight?
I'm a
bud?
big boy.
I know we're going to talk a lot about it tonight.
I can take
Real
a loss.
quick, 35.
I don't want this to sound like sour
30.
grapes.
Yes, sir.
I do have a few views on the game tonight.
Mhm.
For example, I would be critical somewhat of the Crest coaching staff, not necessarily the head coach, because I understand it's not his decision, but a former head coach at Crest and a former head college coach and I all agree. When you kick off, do not squib kick the ball
Okay.
to the 45-yard line and give them half a
Well, yeah,
field
that
to
don't
go
help.
score.
That don't help.
Also, when you have a runner that you have, chased down
Mhm.
15 yards behind the line of scrimmage,
Mhm.
and he goes down on a knee, and then he gets up and runs and gets the 15 yards back. And then when the white cap comes by the quarterback, he gives him a hand slap. I'm thinking, we in trouble.
Oh goodness.
But
Chargers lose 35-30 tonight.
some of those
on
late
KTC
calls, I'll let
broadcast.
Trey and some of the guys discuss. I wasn't there. I'm just reporting what I saw with my own eyes in the first
So-
half. But I'm just saying, when we got some officials
Right.
from Gaston County, it seemed like it was payback.
So we'll get Kings Mountain with their win tonight, 38-7. What we were
Great-
hoping was
Great
going to be
victory for Kings Mountain tonight.
we were hoping, Dennis, we were going to have a Kings Mountain at Crest Huss matchup to go to the
Love to
state
have done-
championship.
Love to
But
have done that
you
because
know,
I
you
think
guys and Huss didn't come through on it.
Yeah, I think Kings Mountain. Joel, if you're listening to me, I am now a Mountaineer.
It still doesn't matter. No matter what, Kings Mountain's not going to get a home game, folks.
No,
so
no.
That's the bad thing
And
about
that beautiful field and that wonderful turf.
it. The way they do a couple of teams have been kind of misplaced the way they do the seedings because in the NFL, I guess it doesn't rank them 1 through 6. You get divisions, they get the higher seeds. But in some of these matchups, I mean, Dennis, in 2 games, Kings Mountain's outscored on the road 90-something to 14, something like that.
Yeah. And I think I am going to
As a 10 seed, the 10 seed.
pay tribute to Terry next week and go to Shelby and see what the West Lincoln Rebels can do with the Golden Lions.
You gonna wear your red shirt? Your red KTC?
I
You got a
will
red
be
KTC
I will be
shirt?
neutral in respect to
Terry's not being neutral at all.
no Terry doesn't have to be
He's
neutral,
not being
but
neutral at all.
out of respect for
Does
Terry
not
and
care.
Steve
No.
and Bobby and all the Shelby callers, I won't pull for either team in that one. I'll just pull for the winner.
We've got some fun matchups. This is gonna be a fun night. Talk about these scores and these matchups, guys. We're gonna have our broadcasters gonna call in and talk to us. Fans, just hold off for a little while before we give you the phone number to call in.
Yeah.
We've got to get our reporters to give their eyewitness accounts that we pay for.
Yeah.
Before we get the comments from the peanut section, right, Dennis?
Peanuts, popcorn, whatever you want to call
Yeah,
it.
we're all in the peanut section.
But I'd like to thank
Especially JP.
David Brinkley. Did we get to broadcast the Kings Mountain game tonight?
No, Dennis.
I tuned into the pregame show just as you were wrapping up
Okay,
something.
so what happened is, and this is we'll kind of explain it for post-game listeners and viewers. There's the way the video rights work in the postseason. I'll find my camera. Grab Yeah. If JP will move the big thing in the middle of the screen so we can see our cameras and where we're at, we'll know if we're right. But you know,
X on that white box.
okay, I'm good. I guess everybody watching at home can't see what JP was doing. But anyway, so the video, the way the rights work, Dennis, they've started releasing the playoff rights that you can do the playoff games.
Ooh.
Are they double overtime right now? So it's still tied 35-35, Mountain Island and Mount Airy in double overtime right now. Score update. So folks, big game there in the 1A. So Dennis, the Charter Time Warner cable folks, they have the first rights.
Plug.
Well, no, they did not. So they have first rights. Second rights is second rights is the, I don't know if you've ever heard of this, Dennis, the National Federation of High School Network. They're based out of Atlanta, and they've got some deal with the Athletic Association. I have no idea what it is, but basically they have the second choice of it. Well, they have some deal with Statesville. I think they have some type of automated system or something that does the game, and they have they chose the rights to that game.
Really?
And so, and they're based out of Atlanta.
Yeah.
Not out of North Carolina. And
Cam probably wanted to see that game.
Let's say this is the first time you wanted to watch that network.
You had to
never
subscribe.
Heard of it. You had to subscribe, and it's like $10.99 to do that. Not $1, but $10.99. And I don't know if that's a year, monthly. I don't know whatever the fee is. But tonight, if you wanted to watch the Kings Mountain game, it was more to watch it than
what I was headed at, Kevin, I'd like to thank David Brinkley for his sponsorship last week, and I'd like to thank Robbie Morgan for his sponsorship this week.
Right.
And I don't know what the heck's going to happen next week.
Well, hopefully, folks, with the matchups, we got a couple of teams matching up with each other the next few weeks. If you're interested in sponsorships, I hate to be begging for sponsorships during the show and everything.
Oh, go ahead, beg.
But we'll go ahead.
That's how we get paid.
We're going to have West Lincoln at Shelby next week. So for you big West Lincoln sponsors and Shelby sponsors, you want to throw a little bit more our way. Well, it won't go to us. It'll go straight to the
High School
broadcast
Athletic
fee.
Association.
Yep. Well, I think the early rounds a lot of them go to it goes to the school, the dentist, and then the athletic association gets a little percentage.
Yeah, it's like the gate. And the further you go with the gates, the more they get.
Yeah, good grief, Tom. Cinephony just sent me a text, and I don't even know if it like this is a career, Andre. Keywan Pryor tonight had a career for a lot of people tonight. Oh my!
How
goodness.
bad was it?
Not 100 yards, Dennis.
Not 200. Not 300.
No.
400 yards?
400 yards rushing.
Ooh,
Keywan Pryor, 413, 4 touchdowns.
Just 4.
Just 400 yards rushing tonight, Andre.
Well, the field's only 100 yards long, so that explains that, right?
Mark Ludwig, I know you guys are celebrating up there in Pumpkin Center tonight, but you guys are going to have your hands full next week with Keywan Pryor, who put up 400 yards tonight. I hope, I guess that's not a typo. He hasn't sent that back correctly. But goodness, Tom.
If Cinephony said it, you can take it to the bank.
I mean, listen, Dennis. That kid, you folks, it's worth the price of admission to pay to watch Keywan Pryor run the football.
Excellent, outstanding high school athlete.
I can't say it any other way. And I'm bigger than him.
Yeah.
And I'm not big. He's about 5'7" maybe. I don't know the weight, but just the speed in space.
He's a little faster than you, though, Kevin.
Oh, a ton. So the best comparison that I can come up with, Dennis, just watch it on TV, is and I hate to say it because a lot of people think he's the best ever, but I personally think he's the best ever. Anyway, it's Barry Sanders in space type.
Breaking news. Where
Keywan could stand in this room, if you're watching online, folks, you see the table. Keywan could get in this room, and we could play tag with me and Dennis, and we couldn't touch him. Because he's so fast in space, stop and go, and then when he gets any room whatsoever, he's gone. Price of admission for you folks in Pumpkin Center up there, that place is going to be filled up and rocking next week. Burns at North Lincoln. We're going to have West Lincoln at Shelby here on KTC Broadcasting, and then Kings Mountain. Let's see if we've got that score in tonight. AC Reynolds, have we got that, guys? get to work, Andre and Terry. All right, I got Steve DeGree on the line, Dennis. We got to get to him.
Okay.
We're having a little dinner. We're stuffing our faces with some sagebrush. Steve, how about them Golden Lions tonight? Over the
how about them Golden Lions, baby?
over the Maiden Blue Devils, 49-7. Beat the South Fork 2A. You guys advance. You'll be hosting the Rebels next week out of the South Fork 2A, another South Fork 2A team that beat Maiden this year. So a little bit tougher opponent next week. Let's tell us a little bit about tonight, though. How about the Golden Lions that got out and running against the Blue Devils?
Well, at first we came out and scored 14 quick points.
And that 7, real quick, Steve, that's a shutout on defense, though, right?
Right.
As a pick 6 for Maiden.
They threw a pick 6, and they ran it back for number 20, ran it back in for a touchdown. And we got ready to go scoring again, and Omar Phillips fumbled on the 1-yard line. And our defense played lights out tonight, Kevin. I mean, you couldn't ask for better defensive game from Coach Hodgson and the guys that played on the defense side of the ball. They really played their hearts out. I know we had at least maybe 5 quarterback sacks. Jack, he had double-figure corner out. He had double-figure tackles. Malachi Hammer just held the fort down. And one of the key points of the game, were rather 2 key points right before the half, their best running back, number 3, he got hurt. And he didn't even go in for halftime for the dressing room, and that changed the whole complexity of the game. And our defense was already playing lights out, so that gave them another weapon.
They're better
They gave them another weapon. Yes.
Steve, I'm sorry for the interruption. There seems to be a little feedback in the room here. You go right ahead. We'll clear their mic for you.
Sorry, Will Boykins just walked in.
Okay, I was just after number 3 got hurt, it changed the whole complexity of the game. And I hope the young man's okay. He had 1,000 yards rushing, but our defense was already playing lights out before he got hurt, so that contributed some of the game too. And another key point in our game was we got rid of punter ball, and Deshaun Christopher was our punter, and so Maiden didn't rush to block the punt. He took off with it.
Yeah, I heard that, Jeff, and them telling about he went and got the first down.
Yeah, we got the first down. We wanted him to score. Like, I know Coach Wilbank still chewed him out, even though it was a good play. That wasn't what he was supposed to do, but he made it. He made it into another good play. And then when we went in to score, our running back was running in for a touchdown, and they said he did a flip in the end zone.
Yeah. Did he get hit?
He got disqualified.
But didn't he get hit low?
I thought he did. I guess we have to wait the films to see, but they said that's an automatic qualification.
Yeah.
So he'd be able to play next week. But if he got ejected, you understand, he wouldn't have got to play.
Right.
Well, y'all can go back and watch the replay on YouTube and see if it happened, if he did.
Yeah, but I think the referees just go ahead and change to a disqualification. But anyway, our defense played lights out, and also our offensive line. When we had to run it, of course the Hogs, we can run it when we want to, and just a great second half. First half was a little suspect because we did things that wasn't like Cherryville like. I think three consecutive turnovers. And I don't think I was ever seen that one guy throw the pick 6, and then I was there fumbled it. But he made for the second half. You always have a playoff game that's going to give you problems. So I'm glad we got that one out of our system.
Well, Steve, I just coming in the gate tonight, there was this young man came in and pulled out his ID to show us, and I just said, "OJ, just come on in. You're a Crest boy. You can't be responsible. You can pick your friends, but you can't pick your relatives." But anyway, Steve, congratulations. I'll be down at Shelby next week to see the Rebels and the Lions go toe-to-toe.
I wish Terry would come over there so we can hang out a little bit.
I will try to get Terry a pardon so he can get away and come. I think it'd be worth his time to come see, the Shelby High School Lions play. And I know he supports the West Lincoln Rebels wholeheartedly. So, I think we ought to arrange somehow to get somebody to cover the scores so Terry can go to that game next week, Kevin.
Yeah, at least half of the game. You know, like I said, I would think a lot of Cherry. You know, he does great with all the statistics, and he's the real stat man.
Listen, I'm just seriously concerned that me and Will's not going to get our biscuits in the morning. That Terry's going to celebrate so hard tonight that I can just might as well pick up my own. Will, what you want me to cook you in the morning?
Go ahead and cook me some eggs because I think he's gonna run up there.
Terry ain't gonna.
You better go by Krispy
He's
Kreme.
gonna get up there in Cat Square tonight. I'm tell you what.
What time's the? I'm sure they've already scheduled the parade.
I guarantee you there's something going on up there in Cat Square tonight.
Steve, you're invited to. You can come party.
Oh, I'll stay here in Cleveland County.
I don't blame you.
All right, they'll come party next week over to see you.
They gonna have some of them, Steve. They gonna have some of them mason jars up there in Cat Square tonight. With that, with some clear substance that look like water, but it ain't gonna be water.
In a mason jar?
In a mason jar.
Oh my God! Hey, Will, they call that good stomp water.
Yeah, that good stomp water. Yes,
You're
sir.
exactly right.
It ain't Diet Mountain Dew.
Well, Steve, what you gonna do this weekend?
Just probably watch a lot of football, and just keep praising Chip offensive line. I stepped out of the box a little bit this week. I know our linemen don't get a lot of publicity, you know, for what they do. So I went and bought them all a toboggan this week.
Oh.
Let them know I love them. Went over Brothers and got them a toboggan just to like. So someone don't get to play, they can keep their ears warm and just let them know that we do appreciate them. You know, you got to show these kids that you appreciate them.
That's it. That's exactly right, Steve.
All right. Well, you have a great weekend. Be careful. We're gonna see you next Friday night, Bubba.
I'll be there. The Lord's willing, the creek don't rise.
All right, Steve.
Terry and I will try to be there.
Thank you.
Oh,
I'd
yeah,
love to.
And Jalen Scott, he was at the game tonight too, fellas.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Jalen had a good game last night.
Yeah,
He
was at the
he
game
had
tonight.
he had a really good game last night.
Except the times that they blitz when they shouldn't have.
Right,
Hey
right.
Steve,
Don't ask the state fans.
Steve, I got a shout out to a former Golden Line. Somebody was talking about Shelby quarterbacks. No Shelby quarterback had made the big time. Charlie Noggle played for NC State, Terry. He's from Shelby.
Got a lot of people
Well-
come from Shelby. David Thompson.
He's from
Well, I mean,
Crest.
he's from
Well, I
Crest.
mean, he's
Well, I mean,
from us.
I mean,
from
Norris played for the Reds and Royals. I mean,
He made it big time. He
I'll
was,
take-
but he didn't
I'll
play
take that.
football.
I'll take
He-
that.
he-
Y'all not
He
got
didn't
that
play
figured
any
out.
college ball
Yeah.
because Norris left high school and played professional football,
When they
baseball.
identify Crest, they say Shelby Crest.
No. We
cleared
corrected that.
out. We cleared
There's
that out.
there's a few
What?
there's a
Hey,
few
there was some
reporters that
knuckleheads
have been
out there.
nailed to the post. of it.
What's that, Steve?
Hey, Terry, now they changed the Bowling Springs quiz because they don't want to get it mixed up, so they did change it to Bowling Springs quiz.
We'll good. We'll good.
Yeah,
I'm glad-
we don't want to drag
I'm glad
Shelby's
everybody's feelings
reputation
are okay
down.
now
Yeah.
over in Cleveland County. I'm glad you guys are all okay. All right, Stevie.
Okay, fellas, y'all continue to do what you do, and thanks for letting me talk.
All right,
brother. Have a
Steve.
good- Will, did you hear my Q1 prior stats coming in?
Listen, I got in a.
Let me ask you real quick, and then I'll let you. Say that. You say that, then I'll ask you a question. Go ahead.
I got in a conversation
Yes, sir.
with some Burns fans this week on the Facebook North Carolina Football Talk.
Mhm.
And we was talking about the High Brighton game.
Mhm.
And I just basically told them I don't think High Brighton.
JP, there you go.
I don't think High Brighton has the answer for Bo
Mm-mm.
and his offensive line. I put it on. You can go back and check it. I put it on there. They're gonna get the end zone 4 times, at least 4 times. Bo and his offensive line is gonna find the end zone.
Yeah.
I said the difference in this game would be whether Burns' defense would show up.
Evidently they did.
Well, they didn't have to. they put 7 touchdowns on them. Bo had 4. Q1 prior, 413 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's a career for some people. Austin Setzer, like 10 tackles, 5 assists, and a pick. He's been playing outstanding. What I was going to ask you,
off his head. He's the last 3 games he's played off.
He's
his
been
head.
outstanding.
He has.
we got a call real quick before we go to him. Will, this kind of lead to him. We mentioned Norris a minute ago. We actually have his baseball card somewhere here on the show. He's on the show somewhere in the room, somewhere. I can't remember where I put him, but the Norris Hopper Cincinnati Reds card. But anyway, is Kewan the closest thing to Norris that we've had? As far as, what like me and you talk about in space, because Norris was like a ghost. I just remember you couldn't touch him the same way with Kewan.
Norris was outstanding.
Right.
He was very outstanding. Kewan, they have similar, but Kewan's a different breed. Bo's just a different kid.
Mm-hmm.
He is, and his mannerisms is totally. You walk up and talk to this kid outside of football, you never thought he played football.
Mm-hmm.
He's a yes sir, no sir dude.
Will brought his cousin.
I'm
Sorry
just
about that.
wondering, Will, did you ever coach this young man by chance?
Yeah.
No, sir. I never had the
There was
pleasure
a
of
fly that
coaching.
came by. I
I
was
coached
picking on Will.
against him. I never had the pleasure of coaching him. His father.
What do you do? Give the defenders nets? Like, this is what I got, guys. Like, what we gonna do, coach? Here's a net. Just
That's not gonna work.
I saw that. What are you
net
gonna do?
would come up empty. It would be like fishing coming up empty. But Kewan, I know me and Kewan's father, we're cousins.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Really?
makes me and Kewan
But you're
cousins.
cousin to everybody, Will.
We have a big family.
I kind of compared him a little bit like as a running back style, as to a Barry Sanders type, where in the space and he can get through there quickly.
He hits. He don't need holes.
Mm.
All he needs is a crease.
Mm-hmm.
He don't need a big hole to get
He
away.
can't explain that. It's hard. It's just so hard to explain to watch it, and it's so awesome to watch in person. And he's a junior. We got another year of this. When they got moved down to 2A, I just looked at everybody and said, "Uh-oh."
Yeah.
Because of his speed alone, not just Burns. They're going to be good in the 2A no matter what. But him alone is a problem to 2A defenses, other than someone like Shelby.
But then when you match him, his speed and his agility, and you come, Burns got this great thing where they got C.J. Hopper back there.
I wouldn't want to try to tackle Hopper.
And you match his speed, and you get used to trying to chase Kewan, and then they hand the ball and come straight at you up the middle.
And the quarterback's a big boy,
oh
too.
my Lord mercy!
Cameron Sweezy's not small.
Well, I'm going to steal some of Tom's thunder here. I'm like Steve. I want to give some credit to the Burns offensive and defensive line. That, I think,
Dorian
has been
Starnes
the
has been
difference.
outstanding on the defense.
They
Absolutely.
have been a different defense since he came
If
back.
he's
from
out
his
there, they're incredible.
have
All right,
it.
guys, let's give the scores that we have. We're missing about 2 brackets. I've got the setup, and then we'll take a break. Oh no, we got Bobby on the line. Sorry, JP, get Bobby on the line for a minute. We'll give the scores and take a break. Okay?
Hey, Bobby, what's going on with you?
Hey, man, what about them Shelby Golden Lions?
How about them Shelby Golden Lions? They took on the Macon Blue Devils tonight and came out 49-7. How you feel about that, Bobby?
Well, I was there as a witness. Shelby, of course, Steve was talking about it earlier. They had a little shake-up to start with, but, one thing, I was very confident, as I said on last week, that the Shelby Golden Lions would be victorious tonight. They got ways of putting things together, and, I'm just so glad. And as I was noticing tonight, the good coaching and the coaches putting their heads together and trying to figure out what was the problem. But nevertheless, the guys just took heed to it, and they just sucked it to them, Macon. And, one thing I'm so glad, even though that Isaiah Bass had a little trouble as far as the tonight, but, he always going to come out on top either way you look at it, even though he threw 2 interceptions tonight, and including the fumble. But, nevertheless, Shelby is going to come out on top. I was very confident. And they played well. We got real strong in the second half and just wore them out. We just wore them down.
Well, Bobby, I was listening, and when he threw that first pick 6, I thought that was so unlike him, because he's pretty accurate and intelligent about, where he puts the ball. What happened on that particular play? Did somebody fall down? He just overthrew somebody?
Well,
what?
he just happened to read him pretty good, and there was no Shelby player there to block him or anything. And somehow he was just standing there, and it's just like he threw it right to him. And he was gone down the field.
Well, that happens sometimes. Doesn't matter how good you are. Look at the pros and the turnovers they had. That's like the Panthers quarterback. I mean, he had like 5 or 6.
Well, as the time goes on, I heard the coach was talking about it tonight after the game that there are some things that as the season goes on, it's going to get real tough for the Shelby Golden Lions. Of course, that's within the team. The Shelby Golden Lions, they know they're going to have to get better as the season goes on in the playoffs. And of course, Shelby always gets stronger and stronger during the playoff season. So, I feel like they're going to work on a lot of things because we know who we're going to be playing next week. And I understand we're going to be playing the West Lincoln Rebels, I believe it is.
And they'll be
nevertheless, they're going to figure out some way to come out on top next week. We're just going to have to really play even harder next week. Well, every week as the games go on, we're just going to have to get tougher and be ready to play.
I heard they were going to be quarterbacked by Terry Reinhardt next week. I'm not sure that'll be in their favor.
That won't be in their favor if they do that. They better leave Bridges where he at.
Yeah, well, one thing about it, Isaiah Vince, he's going to get better as the season goes on, and we're just going to have to really block. We're going to have to click on all cylinders, and we're just going to have to get better every week as we go.
That's it, Bobby. You were right. But they have to go. We just got a late score in. AC Reynolds 40, Northeast Gifford 0.
Oh, wow.
And Murphy 64, Winston 44.
Well,
defensive struggle.
Yeah.
Defensive struggle on that one there. And Robbinsville 40, Allegheny 22. Well, Bobby, we appreciate your call. Keep playing that Panana that you got over there.
Yes, but one thing about it, I'm just so glad that we're still in the playoffs, and I just hope we just go all the way to the state. And I'm looking forward to going to Wake Forest or wherever we got to go. But we just got to take it week by week and just keep playing hard. And I feel like if we do that, we'll be back in the state again.
Well, wherever you go, KTC, we'll be there.
And we appreciate what y'all do, and we thank y'all for the hard work that y'all do on the radio station.
Thank you very much, Bobby, and we appreciate you calling in and keeping us updated every week on the Shelby Golden Line.
And appreciate y'all too.
All right, thank you, man.
All right, let me do this real quick.
Go ahead.
Boss man Calvin came in.
Yeah.
Robert Morgan Funeral Home and Cremation Service in Boiling Springs has agreed to pick up the NCHSAA fee for next week's game against Burns and North Lincoln.
Wow.
So that game will be on KTC broadcasted.
Tom Sinafani on camera?
On camera, and you can watch.
Ken Link and Matt Royster. Wow.
Three man?
You spared no expense on that lineup.
Well, who's gonna call on what side? How you gonna do it? You gonna let the WLN people call for Lincoln and folk? And
No, Tom's gonna do play-by-play, and then Matt and Ken's gonna tell them about their teams.
Yeah. Matt will probably take Burns, and Ken will probably take North Lincoln.
I would guess. It's gonna be a good game over at the Fat Boys Club over at North Lincoln High School, and the gang. Mark Ludwig's got his hands full in the defense trying to figure out what to do with Kewan. But it should be a good game. You guys been looking. People have been saying, I don't see North and Shelby all day. I'm like, y'all gotta play Burns first.
It would be easier for them to stop everybody else.
I thought you were gonna say tackle a greased pig. They keep Kewan under 200.
It'd be easier for them to stop everything else and let Kewan score his 4.
Yeah, and get the ball back.
Now he's been stopped before. Kings Mountain threw it at him. They did a good job. They wrapped him up.
Very early
Shelby
in the year.
Shelby did too.
That was the second game of the year.
Let's give the scores, and we got to take it. Well, JP's got we got Jeff Miller on line. We got to get to Jeff, and then we're going to take a break. Jeff Miller, JP, can you put us on so we can talk to Jeff? See where Jeff was at tonight. I think I saw a tweet from him earlier. I can't remember. Jeff, you there, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, how y'all doing?
What game did you go to tonight?
I went to the South Point at West Lincoln game.
Okay.
Good.
Tell us
Yes,
all about it.
Man, it was pretty much back and forth. West Lincoln got the ball first because South Point deferred. West Lincoln drove down into South Point territory, but got stopped and had to settle for a field goal. That was no good. And then South Point got the ball back, and West Lincoln stopped them. And then West Lincoln got on the board first with a 2-yard run by their quarterback, and then South Point answered with touchdown by number 40, their fullback, and then West Lincoln's fullback answered right back with a 2-yard run of his own. So it was 14-7 at half. Now West Lincoln's extra points on the first touchdown was no good, and then they went for 2 on their second one, and that's how it got to 14-7. And then South Point got the ball back because they deferred in the second half, and their fullback scored a 10-yard run to tie the game up at 14 apiece. And then they tried an onside kick that West Lincoln fumbled, and then both teams fell on it, but the ref said it was West Lincoln ball. But at the South Point crowd, they'll be like, no, that was clearly South Point's ball. I mean, the Boo Birds were out in full force after that one. And I think South Point stopped them on that drive, too. Then the West Lincoln quarterback, I think it was in the fourth quarter, got them up 21-14. The PAT was good with an 8-yard run. And then South Point, King answered with an 8-yard run of his own. Then West Lincoln with a knockout punch with less than 2 minutes to go. Actually, it was like a minute and a half to go, and a 3-yard touchdown run, and then a 2-point conversion run by their quarterback to make it 29-21. And South Point just did not have enough time to, get a drive going to answer, and that is how West Lincoln won. Very, very good game by both teams. But West Lincoln, one of their touchdowns, I think it was the one early in the fourth quarter, was facilitated by a couple of bad South Point penalties. And, those penalties will kill you.
Oh, you don't have to tell me about bad calls and penalties. Jeff, you have seen Shelby. You've seen West Lincoln now. In the next round, West Lincoln will be coming to Shelby. Give us your take on that game. How do you see that stacking up?
Well, I believe Shelby's going to be a totally different animal for West Lincoln. I mean, all you have to do is look at their previous matchups. Like last year's 27-8 playoff loss, and then their previous playoff losses to Shelby. Shelby's going to have a lot of speed for them, and Shelby, I think, is going to bring a very disciplined team. West Lincoln is just going to have to play out of their minds to win that game. I don't see West Lincoln beating Shelby. I love West Lincoln. Their fan base was great to me. They treated us well tonight, but I just got to be brutally honest. I think Shelby probably wins that one by, I'm going to go ahead and say 4 touchdowns, to be brutally honest.
Okay. Well, Terry Reinhardt will not be sending you a Christmas card this year.
Well, but I could lie to him and say West Lincoln will win by 1.
Well, that's why we look forward to your calls and your observations, because we know we're going to get the straight facts there, and give them your website so they can tune in this week and see what you guys are picking in the next rounds.
CarolinaVarsity.com, that's who I write for. And I want to give another shout out to the West Lincoln fan base.
Sure.
Because
good folks.
CarolinaVarsity.com's Facebook page, I put Which game should I go to? Hunter Huss versus Catholic or West Lincoln versus South Point? Man, you should have seen that post. It was like a 5-1 West Lincoln over Hunter Huss ratio. I mean, their fans basically stopped short of beating down my door. And to anybody who's concerned, I got shoulders. If anybody wants to crown them, because I know somebody big lost tonight.
Yep. Ooh. They live down in Belmont.
Listen. No, that was a shot
Oh,
fired
Well-
by Brother Jeff.
Well, y'all
Yeah.
claim to be the Gaston County champions.
We are.
Y'all did. Actually, Mountain Island Charter is,
well,
according to the What's Up Shopper Power.
Gaston County got revenge because they sent an officiating crew tonight,
Oh, you heard this, Jeff?
and after we scored the go-ahead
You hear
touchdown,
this, Jason?
there was this
And it was this-
phantom
that
call of
was
holding.
Just
It came back.
it was a mess.
Jeff,
That was
I've
horrible.
never seen anything like it. The refs gave up 35 points tonight at home.
No.
Hey,
No,
listen,
but
Jeff. Now this is the God's honest truth. I saw it with my own eyes. The guy from West Rowan is running 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage, trying to get away. He goes down on his knee, gets up, runs back, gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Did you not see it?
The official,
35
the
points.
white hat,
It don't matter.
as he goes back,
How
gives
many did they call
gives
back?
the West Rowan quarterback a hand slap.
If y'all scored 36, you won.
We did.
Gotta play one better.
We did.
Gotta do one better.
We scored 36.
scored
Yeah.
42, you'd have won.
We scored more than that. They
scored
called them
50,
back.
you'd have won.
And
The
we're not even
official
talking
was
about
on.
that pass.
You know what?
Play with
I
the
agree
defense.
with you.
Hold the
I
other
would
team under.
agree with
Hold
you
the
on
other
something.
team under
Jeff,
30.
you don't open a whole nother can of worms up in here. But I'm going to tell you what.
Jeff, so where are you going next week? Mountain Island Charter?
Where's Mountain Island Charter playing?
Let's see. I will tell you. East Surrey. No.
Long trip. I may catch the North Lincoln Burns game.
That'll be a really
Listen,
good
that's
game.
gonna be
Jeff.
the game. That's gonna be the best game next week. That'll be the
Jeff,
game to
why
be
don't
at.
you go to that Bessemer City? Never mind.
They're the only team in this room that had a bye, so that's okay. That's okay, Jeff.
I figured Swain County was going to beat Bessemer City. I mean,
Yeah.
I actually picked Swain County to win, but by golly, I did not expect them to just walk the dog on them.
Listen,
like
you
that.
can't trust the maroon, whatever a maroon devil is. I wouldn't, what is that?
A
You know,
maroon
you're
devil?
set up if you're playing
Why
whatever.
don't you blame it on that new scoreboard?
Maroon devil is. Y'all won, but your colors are ugly. Maroon.
You talking about Thomas Jefferson?
Maroon?
Hey, we got Kenny Link online too.
I
y'all.
know we do. And we got Jason Sane here. Jeff, we'll see you next week, Bubba. You take care this weekend.
Hey, thank you guys very much.
All right, thank you, Bub. All right, we got Ken Link on the phone. Ken, join us just a second. Jason Sane's in the house. He was at the West Lincoln game. He's a West Lincoln graduate. He was on the field taking video and Twitter for us. He's going to join us in just a second. But let's get Ken off the phone for a second, or on the phone for a second, Jason. But before we get to you, just hold on one more second. Kenny Link was up at North Lincoln tonight for the other South Fork 2A game. And so 2 victories tonight in Lincoln County. And, North Lincoln will be hosting the Burns Bulldogs next week. And Ken, it's time to get real. Cleveland County time now is when it's in the playoffs here.
That's right, and I've been anticipating this matchup with North Lincoln and Burns. I thought that was the way it would come down in the third round, and that's what we're going to have next week. The game tonight, North Lincoln Pisgah impressed me the first half, 14-10 game at halftime. Not that many possessions the first half, so both teams just ball control, kept the ball. Lots of different kind of formations on offense for Pisgah. They also faked their scores the first half. They faked a field goal on 4th down, got a first down, later scored, and later on faked a punt around midfield and got a first down and kicked the field goal right as the half ended. But second half, I guess North Lincoln made some adjustments. First 3 possessions for Pisgah, 3 and out, and every time North Lincoln got the ball, they just pounded it and scored. And probably the best game I've seen Landon Beard, the quarterback, play. He had about 175 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns, 1 out of 2 passes for 67 yards. Ty Williams had a couple touchdowns that they just dominated the second half.
Well, Ken, we understand this game was going to be of great interest. Pisgah is an old team that has a great history. They travel well. They came down to basically, you'd have to say, the youngsters, the new upstart North Lincoln Knights. How was the crowd tonight?
Huge crowd for Pisgah. They pretty much filled up all the bleachers on the visitor side.
And they got a long drive back up 40. I know.
They do. I mean, the huge crowd there, on the North Lincoln side, but I was the biggest crowd I've seen at North Lincoln on the visitor side in the 2 years I've been doing games down there.
Well, hopefully wait till next week.
wait till you see that blue show up on the other side.
Hopefully the Bulldogs show up next week. And Kenny, we got to think next week. I don't know if you heard while you was on hold or anything. We're gonna have a special sponsor next week, and we will have that game live on video. And we're gonna have you join Tom and Matt for the Burns North Lincoln game here on KTC Broadcasting live on YouTube.
Okay, sounds good.
So Robert Morgan Funeral and Cremation Services, they make sure you guys give him a shout out and thanks over there on your shows this week. He's covering the expenses for that game. So Robert Morgan Funeral Home and Cremation Services LLC up in Bowling Springs is going to take care of you guys this week.
All right, we'll give the folks down there in the press box a heads up that we'll be there with 3 folks next week, and we'll be doing video. They'll love it.
All
there
right.
you go, Ken.
Hey, Kenny Link.
Yes, sir.
I am going to be off Wednesday. We are closed next week for Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
2 days.
Ho, ho, ho. Or gobble, gobble, gobble.
Gobble, gobble. Yeah, because we got a Black Friday sale.
It's
We don't
not
have to work Sunday.
Black Friday. Yep. Never mind. I won't go there. Get you in trouble, Will.
Well, so Kenny Link, I will be up at the radio station early next Wednesday.
Bring food.
Yeah, that's what's going
And
on.
lots of it.
You tell Tim to have me something to eat, because I'm going to be there early. I'm probably going to hang out with him around 4 o'clock when he starts his beach show. And
I'll tell him.
we going to talk a little sports next week.
All right, Ken.
On the Best in Sports Talk Show on WLON next Wednesday.
And Ken, you guys, before coming in tonight, 6 of those 8 teams in you guys' division of the 2AA had won 24 state championships, except North and West. But West still came into the night undefeated at home, Will. and they walked the dogs on the Red Raiders, didn't they, Jason? And they left the night undefeated.
It was their first playoff game at home.
They're undefeated.
Will, if you're undefeated at home against the South Point Red Raiders, I mean, you gonna poo-poo that one? Come on. Ain't that right, Ken? How about them Rebels?
How about them? I tell you what, I'm interested to hear Jason what he's got to say about the game, because I was following the score, but I didn't have a lot of details. So.
All right, buddy. Well, you have a good weekend. We'll see you next week and everything.
All right, see you. Bye.
All right, Kenny Lee, WLON. They had North Lincoln tonight. They're going to be hosting the Bulldogs next week. Folks, we've already got the matchups in front of you on KTC Broadcasting if you're watching. All right, Trey Albright, I know you're online. Just hold a minute. I got to get Jason in down here. He's been waiting a while. Jason Saint, he's usually on the Kings Mountain broadcast with myself or Jawan, but he's a West Lincoln grad. So it would have been heartless of me to say go to Statesville tonight to watch that junk, or I could send you to your alma mater and to the first ever home game. He got to stay on the sidelines, home playoff game.
Only second round game.
Only second round game ever. So
first time I ever won a home playoff.
So got Jason out there. Tell us about the atmosphere first, out there in the stadium on the field for the fans for West Lincoln.
Yeah, the
Rebels.
The home crowd came out in force for sure. West Lincoln faithful were out there, including myself. And South Point showed up well as too. It's not very far away. It's not right next door. It ain't a county rivalry, but it's close enough that they filled their side of the stands as well. So it was definitely a good football atmosphere.
Everybody wearing red, white,
and black.
black.
Too cold. Didn't rain on us. So yeah, it was a good night to play
good
football.
Night for football.
Did you know that's the first time the two schools have ever played each other? So West Lincoln now leads the series 1-0 at home.
I was unaware this is the first time they'd played each other. I felt like we had gone to their place.
Terry told us that
but at the
earlier.
same time, I feel like now that you mentioned it, that was Charlotte Catholic, not South Point.
Right.
Just a little kind of feels like the same place, but ain't.
You don't want to go to Catholic.
We had to play Catholic.
That's where it was
and
that we did
Cherryville.
go, now that I recall. It was not South Point.
Will, my senior year I played Catholic and Kings Mountain.
Oh my goodness.
I had best friends.
That's hard to believe. West Lincoln's been a school for so long that you'd have thought they'd play each other at least once in the
Right.
past. But
And-
no, I can't blame them for not putting them on the schedule.
Right.
West Lincoln's never
South
really.
Point's always been too scared to come to Vail. I understand it.
Exactly,
I mean,
yeah.
why would you? Now you got a losing record now. You know that's why Alabama won't come to App State. It just
Get
happens
outside
that way.
your
Will.
conference and take an L. You know, you don't want to do that.
Hey, you pay Alabama $1 million, they'll come up to
I ain't
App
paying
State.
Alabama.
Hey, Alabama, guess who Alabama's playing tomorrow?
They don't need any money. They got 90. They just built a $93 million
Guess
suite.
who Alabama's playing tomorrow?
Western Carolina.
Uh-oh.
Who lost to Gardner Webb. Good job, Alabama.
Uh-oh.
Good scheduling.
People act all excited when App beats somebody like South Carolina or Carolina. It's like they didn't see them beat Michigan or see all them close games they played with some of the bigger
Almost beat
schools,
LSU.
but,
You know, they don't remember
I
that
think
stuff.
after the cover of Sports Illustrated, they know you can
Almost
play
ain't
with
good
about
enough.
anybody.
Don't talk about
listen,
your wins.
9 out of 12 teams in the SEC almost beat LSU every year, and they get to say that. So we'll get to say that too.
App
Will.
almost
Don't
beat
take that
LSU
away
a
from
few
me.
That's
years
the
ago.
number.
Shortly after Michigan, we played LSU, and we couldn't score enough on them, but we
Will,
didn't get blown out either.
Since 1978,
14-30.
8 SEC teams have won the same number of championships that Appalachian State has in the SEC.
Yep.
18.
And they
So-
are the number 24 ranked team
I
in
love
the
giving
nation.
you. I give the best stats. I tell you what, the 1-0 Rebels at home. Nothing beats that. Jason. So on the field, how did the Rebels overtake the Raiders? Both teams is pretty much kind of the same teams, kind of lined up against each other, type of style type thing. You
Yeah,
said you don't remember a pass,
definitely.
not to be
there
pass
was a
being
few.
completed.
South Point completed one or two. I don't know that West Lincoln completed any, unless it was maybe a bubble or a screen. Certainly no downfield deep shots got completed. That definitely didn't happen. Don't recall that. But
Cannon
tell you, a lot
Bridges
of-
had a big night, didn't he?
Hewitt was a big force for West Lincoln too, quarterback. Particularly running. Of course, obviously, just there wasn't a lot of passing. He didn't air it out tonight for 200 yards, 2 scores. It was all on the ground. But tell you, a big part of what you didn't come across in the stat sheet and rundown was some of the missed opportunities. First, West Lincoln South Point started out the game with a missed field goal. You heard the rundown. It was a good rundown. It was. West Lincoln scored, South Point scored. West Lincoln scored, South Point scored. West Lincoln, South Point, and West Lincoln just ended up on the right side of the last team with the ball in the end of the game when, you're moving and scoring with about every possession. But their first extra point was no good. So it was 6-0, and then South Point scored and made it 7-0. So there were lead changes left and right. It wasn't 7 and then 7 and then 14 and then 14. It was
Kept it interesting.
6-7. And then when West Lincoln scored their second touchdown, they went for 2 and got it. And then South Point scored, so that made it 14-14, but only because West Lincoln had converted that 2-point conversion. After that, though, they had another opportunity where they had a touchdown get called back on a penalty, and ended up trying a long field goal and missing that. So there was a score that got called back on a penalty, field goal that got missed. And then it wasn't shortly after that they scored to tie it up and went for 2 and got it. But there was a penalty on that. No, their third touchdown, when they went up 20-14, they went for 2 and got it. But a penalty called it back. And then here's your kicker who missed his first extra point, missed the field goal earlier. Now he's trying about a 35-yard extra point just to keep that 7-point lead. And sure
Right.
enough, he made a good kick on that
There
third
you
one.
go.
Made that one.
And so it's like, that didn't really come across in the third touchdown, made it 21-14, but there was a 2-point conversion that they got, came off the board, then they had to try a long extra point because of the penalty,
Big
and he
kick.
made it. So, yeah, he had a good night as far as that crucial extra point, because then South Point scored again 21-21 with about 5 minutes to go, and then West Lincoln just, like I said, got down. in
What do
the
you think
end
about
zone
what do you
and
think
punched
about
in.
going for 2 there at the end too as well?
They had missed an extra
'Cause
point, they missed a field goal, he hit the long extra point, but yeah, probably
Quarterback
think
keeper,
too.
right?
Yes,
For the
quarterback
2
off
point.
the right side. Quarterback keeper.
So big night in Wesleyan, gonna be big. So just all around fun time down there. What do you think about did y'all fire the cannons tonight?
Oh yeah.
So
Cannon
wonder what
went
the
off. I was-
wonder what the Red Raider fans thought about those cannons. Wonder if anybody warned them going down there. Will, Will
they've
you ain't
never
never
been
been
there.
out there, have you, for the cannons?
Dude,
Like
mean, I've
when
been-
they score, they fire the cannons. If you're not ready for it,
I was close
When
to
we
it on the
played them
second
in
one.
middle,
If I hadn't gone to
when
school
we played
there.
them in junior high, we was there, but they didn't get to fire the cannon.
I understand, Will.
Yeah. It'll scare you
35,
when you know it's coming. I was right close to it after that second touchdown.
Right.
When it went off, I jumped
Oh,
a
yeah.
little. If I hadn't went to school there, I'd have come out of my skin. I've seen it happen.
The first time it scared me. I was like about 13, 12 when I first started going out there. But even at the
38,
games,
12.
even at the games, you know it's
38,
coming.
12.
I can tell you some stories from going to school there. I've seen referees hit the deck.
Right.
I've seen flaming balls of paper land on the field, like balls of paper on the field on fire. Had to stop the game and put the field out, take those, the wadding had caught fire. Seen a smoke delay from where the cannon made so much smoke that it drifted onto the field and we had to stop because we couldn't see. It's like having a thick fog out there. So, yeah, there's been some issues with the cannon.
Down 30 to 6.
But somebody almost got blasted standing right in front of it when it went off. Even
you
wadding could hurt.
keeping my boy Tripp on.
I know.
Trey,
Well, usually he gets to. We sit him to the front of the line. He's got to wait tonight. Listen. I'm gonna say what Ric Flair said, Dennis.
To be the man, you got to be the man.
No, there's a line at Space Mountain for a reason. Okay. And he's talking. You don't want to know what Ric Flair's talking about on that. Trey Albright, I know he knows what Ric Flair's talking about. How about the? You don't want to know about the Crest Chargers tonight, but Trey, 35-30. You were down on the field tonight, like Jason was at West Lincoln. Let's tell us a little bit about that, and then we're gonna get Jason out of here to eat some sagebrush and get on out.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, Trey. I'm a loyal Crest fan. I'm a big boy. I can take a loss, but I want to hear your side of this loss tonight. To know that I just wasn't fantasizing or seeing things that were going on there on the field. Talk to me. Tell me all about it.
Well, Dennis, first off, congratulations to West Rowan. They came in with a game plan. They executed it.
Yeah.
When your running back has 42 carries and 268 yards, you're probably going to win.
Yeah.
And you have no turnovers, so, they played a great game, great playoff game.
Oh, they played well.
Congrats to them. Their offensive and defensive line kind of pushed us around. And when I say they're big, Dennis, you were there, they are monstrous.
And they made crucial fourth downs with long yardage. Their receiver, caught some tremendous passes there that gave them chunks of yardage. I was telling these guys, I don't know that I've ever seen, Trey, you were down at the field level, when the kid from that was so good for them, the running back, was about 15 yards behind the line.
Yep.
Up in the press box, it looked like he went down on a knee.
He did.
And then he got up and took off running. And the bad part was he got back, I think, to a line of scrimmage or maybe a little beyond. But then when the white hat official came by, he gave him, a hand. Gave the quarterback a hand, like a low five kind of thing. And I'm thinking, uh-oh, we're in trouble tonight.
Well, Dennis, I don't have a problem with that if you do it to both quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But I don't remember him doing it to our quarterback tonight. But
I think he did some things to our quarterback tonight on that last touchdown.
Well, let's go. We'll fast forward to that touchdown. I'm not going to complain about the rest. They are what they are. When a guy's running into the end zone for a touchdown, and the flag comes flying 40 yards behind the play, and the play's already about done, he's running in the end zone, that's where you got a problem with it.
Yep.
So the closest official did not make the call. Let's just say that.
And this same official, and I don't want to sound like I'm crying. I'm not. I'm a big boy. But, when you make mistakes, don't keep making the same mistakes over and over. That pass that they called a kid out of bounds.
Yeah.
You were on the field. Was he out of bounds?
He had a foot down. Apparently, that was one official on our sideline that says you have to have two. But
is this the NFL now?
It's the NFL.
Yeah.
But it goes more than the referees, guys. They manhandle us up front. I've never seen a defense or offensive line that big in quite some time in high school.
Yeah, now 74 was a monster.
Not that big.
And while I'm griping, Trey, when we kick off, why do we squib kick it to the 45 and give them half the field?
Oh, I don't think they wanted number 10 to get the ball, Dennis. He's pretty good. So
yeah, but our guy can kick it in the end zone.
He put a show on tonight, though. His offensive line gave him holes, and he put a show on. And I can't remember a running back running it 42 times in high school.
Congratulations to the West Rowan team and their coaching staff. They played an excellent game in a hostile environment on the road and defeated the number 1 seed. I don't have any complaints about the West Rowan Falcons. Congratulations, tip of the hat to them. They were the better team tonight for most of the game. I do have a problem with how certain things came down, and as you know, you can't control that. So tell me about the Springmore Bulldogs and put me back in a good mood.
Well, Dennis, we won 34-0 last week with the Shelby Intermediate Panthers, and we're on our way to the championship game. It's scheduled for Saturday, but since it's going to rain, it's been moved to Sunday at 4 o'clock, Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock.
So those boys are playing on Sunday, Will?
Come on out to Crest High School, watch some good football, and see if Springmore can win the midget championship this year. We got to play Upper Cleveland.
Upper Cleveland.
So,
all right. That's
yeah,
almost a Burns Crest.
They had a great year, so they're a tough team, and we're gonna have to play a good ball game to win. And we worked long and hard this week and all year really to get to this point. So anything can happen in the championship game. We've told them that this week. Our kids, they just got to be prepared, and I think they're well prepared and they're ready to go.
Well, those future Chargers and those future Bulldogs, we hope that they both play well and there's no one injured. And we appreciate the job that you and all the coaches in that league do to prepare these young men for the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we try to train them right and coach them right. I know the whole league coaches are pretty good. Each team and each coach. It's an honor to coach these kids, and I can say that I can talk for the other coaches. We just had a great time this year, and hopefully we can bring it home Sunday afternoon, and take the midget championship back to Springmore.
And what time is the kickoff?
It'd be 4 o'clock. The Mighty Might start at 2, the Pee Wee start at 3, and midgets will kick off at 4. So hopefully we'll have a big crowd out there on both sides. Both teams will be well represented. I know Springmore will bring a bunch of people, so let's just try to get a lot of people out there and watch these kids play.
So you could see the Panthers game on TV and then come out to watch the Springmore Bulldogs play.
And then you can go back home and watch the Cowboys beat the Patriots.
Ooh, okay.
Well, now listen, y'all done plug the Cowboys and the Patriots. Y'all plug.
We'd like to plug the Packers too.
Yeah, well, I'll do that.
No, not that kind of plug. Bang, bang.
I'll plug them.
Just kidding.
They got the 49ers, so we'll plug them.
I may actually pull for the Packers this week.
Y'all plug the Packers. I mean, y'all plug the Little League Football League Championship weekend. Congratulations, Coach, for getting there. Now y'all done all you plugging. Y'all done talked about everybody you're supposed to talk about.
All right, you can talk about Aaron Rodgers now.
So let's talk about my favorite little youth football center right now. How my boy doing? How's Nick doing?
Hey, he's been center all year, so he's doing pretty good. So they're getting the offensive line in shape, and they played really good last week. They've had some good days of practice this week, so hey, let's just try to put some points on the board. So,
well, take my boy Nick, since y'all ain't gonna play Saturday. Take my boy Nick to the Pancake House and fill him up with pancakes Saturday afternoon, so he can get me some pancakes Sunday afternoon.
Has he got any offers yet, Trey?
Hey, whatever works. Them pancakes on Sunday, I'm in. Hey, I'll send you the bill, Will.
Yeah, you definitely send me Nick's bill anytime. You make sure you send me Nick's bill. As long as he eating pancakes and bringing me pancakes, I'll pay for his pancakes.
But as the Crest season, guys, let's go back to Crest. I said on the radio after the game, you can't just look at this one game, which stinks getting beat at the end of the season. But the totality of the season, 10-3. Nobody would have seen that coming after the first 4 games of the season. We're sitting at 2-2.
Yeah.
And lose 2 straight to the county games. So, hats off to the coaching staff. We'll get some things worked out for next year and we're a young team. I think they started 8 or 9 sophomores this year, so a lot of juniors, and we'll strap it on next year and get working on next year, probably next week.
Well, this is that sad time of the year when somebody has to lose and somebody moves on. And I would like to congratulate the Crest High School Chargers on a much improved season from where they started out. I think that returns to some good coaching, and I think the kids got together after a couple of those losses and had a little heart-to-heart among themselves and turned things around. So congratulations to them. And how about those Burns Bulldogs and how they're playing, and those Shelby Lions, how they're playing? And sitting across from me is Joel, and he's going to tell me all about them Kings Mountain Mountaineers tonight, 38-7. We still got some good football in Cleveland County.
Impressive. I told you guys that 10 seed, nobody wanted to play them.
Don't nobody
No.
want that. That's one time when you hear a 10 seed coming in. That's the best 10 seed that ever been seeded 10
Will,
in the history of North Carolina football.
being an old history teacher,
I mean, you look back, guys, a month ago, they were number 1 in the state.
I'm going to have to go back after bombing Pearl Harbor. The Japanese Admiral Yamamoto turned to his fellow officers and he said,
We
I
have
fear
awaiting
a sleeping giant.
Yes.
And I think that, Joel's what happens with the Kings Mountain
See,
Mountaineers.
you thought I wasn't paying attention in here.
Hey, who was your teacher anyway?
Hey.
But I
Hey,
think
they got a tough game next week, guys. Going to
yeah,
AC Reynolds. AC Reynolds is no joke. It's hard to play up there.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, I'm. That's the game I'm. Cause everybody said, who you want to play next week? I said I want to go to Asheville because I love going to Asheville.
It's a good atmosphere up there. It's a great atmosphere. They're hard to beat up there. So
Oh yeah, they got a nice stadium and when I went to Brevard my last 2 years, they was a good football team up there. So and then I remember they had a good JV team, and I told them boys this team's gonna win their first state title, and in that couple of years they won that state title. I was like, that was back in the 99-2000 season, somewhere in there.
Well, Trey, you know where the coach went to school at.
y'all know what?
You know where the coach went to school at, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Greg Lowen. So we'll claim a little bit of that Kings Mountain.
Yeah, we'll take credit for that.
Okay.
Well, Trey, we look forward to talking to you next week to get us an update on the championship game.
Oh yeah, we'll call in and we'll tell you how it went. Hopefully, we're celebrating all the way up till next week. So, you know, these kids work hard. They deserve all they get. You know, up for Cleveland, they've worked hard too. So, you know, two good teams gonna go at it Sunday. So it's gonna be a ball game.
Best wishes, Trey. Thank you for calling.
Good luck to you.
All right, appreciate it, guys.
Yeah.
All
Kevin.
right, JP, we gotta
Got to take a break. We got to take a break, don't we, JP?
Yeah.
All right, JP.
All right,
we're
folks,
gonna
we're
take
going to be
a
back
break.
in a minute. Let's give the scores real quick across the board, JP. Hold on. Excuse me. Let's go. East Surrey, 52-0 over Starmouth. They'll play Mountain Island Charter next week, who won 42-35 over Mount Airy.
But it took him 2 overtime.
Yep. 2 overtimes, not 3. 2. Mitchell, they win tonight. Find them on the board. 28-0 over Polk County. Al Bundy in the game. They shut them out. They will be hosting Swain County, who squeaked by Vesper City tonight, 38-12. Then we have Thomas Jefferson will be going to Elkin. Jefferson wins tonight over where am I looking? They moved it. I don't know what Andre put them all over the board here. Jefferson in the corner there, 40-0. Elkin wins 41-13. Thomas Jefferson in Elkin next week. Terry, you got the other scores, Allegheny and those guys. Allegheny falls to Robbinsville tonight, 40-22. Robbinsville will be hosting Murphy next week in the 1A. So there's your 1A matchup for you folks. Over in the 2A, Shelby's going to be hosting the West Lincoln Rebels. Shelby wins tonight, 49-7. Joel, what's that West Lincoln final score over there? 29-21. The Rebels win at home over the South Point Red Raiders. Burns Bulldogs, they win tonight up at High Brighton. Huge win up there at High Brighton, 52-35. Keywan Pryor, 400 yards.
Did you say 400?
Rushing.
Bo knows.
Rushing.
I just want to say that again. Bo knows.
Hey, Will. He had 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's over 100 yards a touchdown. If anyone wants to do the math on it.
Yeah.
I wonder how did he say how many carries he had tonight?
4.
He had more than 4 carries.
Whoa. Whoa.
That's what I.
Tom, call in.
That's the rumor. That's the fake
rumor.
news.
Tom,
Rumor.
call in.
That's the rumor. All right. West Stokes will go to Mountain Heritage next week after winning tonight over Eastern Randolph 26-21 on the road. Mountain Heritage wins tonight 18-7, the 1 seed, with 18 points. Brevard beats the Chase Trojans. The dream season ends up there on the farm. What a great season for them. Congratulations. Outstanding year. Brevard, though, wins at home victorious 48-21 over the Chase Trojans in the 2A. West Stokes will be going to Mountain Heritage next week. Mountain Heritage, like I said, will 18-7 win on that. West Stokes 26-21. That's all the 2A. Over in the 3A, let's see if I can find them on the magic board where they put them in no order whatsoever. I gotta fire somebody. Will, who do you volunteer? Nobody. Okay. 56-6 Weddington over Parkland. We'll just get rid of JP. He ain't listening anyway. 56-6 over Parkland was Weddington. Oh, he was.
They keep firing me, but I'm like a bad penny. I keep turning up.
Northwest Cabarrus and North Guilford combined for 91, but Cabarrus wins tonight, and they'll be going to Weddington next week. Mount Tabor and Dudley. Mount Tabor wins 37-21 over Dudley, and Watauga wins 35-27 over A.L. Brown.
Oh, boy.
Over in the 3A playoffs, Kings Mountain next week will be at A.C. Reynolds, and unless the folks in Atlanta claim the overlords in Atlanta claim that game, we'll have video coverage of Kings Mountain at A.C. Reynolds next week. I'm sure they're not happy about the Mountaineers coming to Rocketville. We'll see that. And then West Rowan will travel to Charlotte Catholic next week after West Rowan's beat Crest tonight 35-30. Catholic wins tonight. Go ahead.
Going down to Keffer Stadium is a whole nother game down there.
Catholic, I lost them on the board.
Catholic 34-20 over us.
Thank you, Will. I just can't deal with this.
Is he referring to us?
No,
Will?
I'm talking about Andre. I'm talking about Andre. I'm just messing with Andre. All right, those are the scores. We'll give them more and some more. We're going to talk about some more of the matchups and what's going on next week. Phone calls and more. Joel's in the house. Me and him both got our Kings Mountain shirts on. He's representing his work as well.
But you were holding up that Cleveland shirt a while ago.
Yeah, it's Cleveland against the world, Dennis.
Oh, I saw the Cleveland's greatest football moment last night. It was called Draft Day with Kevin Costner.
Last night. Hey, Major League was a good movie.
Yeah, I love that too.
You see the dog cat?
He made it back.
It went to the dog pound.
Yeah.
Got rowdy, pulled out a victory, came back with this lousy T-shirt, had a great time. The dog cat had a great time with Miss Anna Senefani and Tom Senefani in the dog pound. So that hat has been in the actual dog
Anna
pound.
goes to the game and they win.
I know, right? I told y'all it was. I mean, that was easy math. Knew that was going to happen. All right, JP, you ready to take a break? I know he's been ready to hit the button for a while. JP's full of chicken from sagebrush, are we? And broccoli. I know you like the broccoli. All right, we're going to be back in a few minutes. Terry's going to join us after he gets done eating sagebrush. And we're going to talk about them Rebels and more. The top 10. Well, now we're down to the top top seven. 7 teams left in our area, folks. We'll talk about that and more on KDCBroadcasting.com.
Fall cleanup time is here. Be ready with a stop at Cleveland Lumber Company in Shelby. Check out their line of leaf blowers by Weed Eater, Black & Decker, and the Makita X2 leaf blower. Buy the Makita X2 leaf blower and get 4 free 50 AH batteries. That's a $240 value. Gas or electric weed eaters started on the $61.99. Plus, get your rakes and shovels too at Cleveland Lumber Company, 217 Airwood Street in Shelby. I'm sure by now you've heard about the excellent auto body repair at Crash's Collision Center on West Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. After all, Crash's Collision Center, they've been putting bodies back in shape for over 25 years. But now there's more. It's custom graphics. They do it all, from signs and banners to vehicle and race car wraps, plus vehicle magnets and lettering too. That's Crash's Collision Center, and now custom graphics. 3719 West Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Online at crashesinc.com. Before you head out to the game, head into the Creekside Clock Restaurant in Shelby. Hey, check out the great specials like ribeye or New York strip, USDA Choice Angus 10-ounce steak, and cut daily and served at your choice of one side in Texas toast. Get 2 for $22. And enjoy their Saturday morning breakfast buffet from 8 till 11 a.m. and their weekend buffet, Friday and Saturday evenings from 5 to 8, Sundays from 11 to 2. It's all you can eat. That's the Creekside Clock Restaurant, 1025 Kaiser Street, right off Highway 74 East in Shelby. The Super Slam is back at Denny's on Highway 74 East in Shelby at the Cleveland Mall. By popular demand, the Super Slam has returned. That's 2 eggs, 2 bacon strips, 2 link sausages, 2 pancakes and hash browns, all for $5.99. That's right, only $5.99. And come see the newly remodeled store. We think you'll love it. Ask for the Super Slam. Now back and ready for you at your local Denny's, 2025 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby, open 24 hours a day. Going to the dentist is made easy with a visit to the new Downtown Dental on North Mountain Street in Cherryville. Downtown Dental accepts all insurance plans, along with accepting Medicaid. They are now accepting new patients, and walk-ins are always welcome. Even if you don't have insurance, you can have your teeth fixed at Downtown Dental. So turn your frown into a smile with Downtown Dental, 106 North Mountain Street in Cherryville, right beside the Greer Beam Truck Museum. Just call 704-435-8100 for more information.
And we are back with our High Monarch Kevin Hastings, with our Reverend of them all, Dennis Davis, and our deacon of our church, Will Evans.
Reverend Davis is here.
And of course, I'm the choir director.
Can I get a amen?
Amen.
JP, that is
Glory be to God.
Will, you don't know what you missed.
Oh,
You missed a party.
By the way, I
Missed a party.
saw a man tonight who said that he goes to church with you. Steve McKee.
Oh, yeah. I know, Steve.
He asked if that was really you that was working here.
Yeah, everybody, a lot of people ask that.
And I'm saying, yeah. And he said, JP?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Steve McKee.
John Prather is a radio star. JP is a radio
Actually, to be
star.
honest, Steve actually
That's the
called me
first
that.
time I ever heard
You didn't know his name.
I never know with the P. I figured John, but I never knew the P was
Prather.
Will.
Yeah. People, I've had my name
Listen.
called Prather.
He's the most gangster person at KTC.
Most gangster person.
Yeah. Cause listen to this. Will.
Is he an OG?
For me to get into Kings Mountain to set up, I have to wait for Matt Bridges to come around and open the gate, let me in. You know, I don't have to show my ID to Matt, but you know, he get me in the gate. JP walks up in there with a bucket of KFC, like he's
Well, that's
the
director.
director.
He walked up with a bucket of KFC.
I ain't never seen anybody just walk up through the gates like that. JP, they just come on in. He don't even have his ID with him at Kings Mountain. I'm telling you,
JP,
he's a radio star.
I heard JP say, "Grasshopper, follow my bucket."
He is.
Follow my bucket.
and I have to be honest, Will, when he stood up the other day to speak, I've never been so scared after the shenanigans from the corner. After the shenanigans from the corner, and when he decided to stand up, I just looked at Amy. I was like, "This is going so far off the rails."
If you guys hadn't been back there,
Steve had already changed the channel at that point. When JB stood up, I'm sure Steve, wherever he was at, was like, "Oh no, oh no, oh no." Folks, we want to talk about the games next week. We don't have another caller online, right, JP? Okay, good. All right, so let's go through the matchups next week. Quick predictions.
No, before you take
What
off,
you want?
since we was already there.
What you want?
Don't go there.
Reverend.
Don't go there.
Reverend.
Yeah.
Can we have a word of prayer?
I'm not sure the SEC would allow
No,
me.
you need one tonight.
But for those of you who are not aware, it's an inside joke. We had a memorial service for Steve Roberts last week. Steve Robey, as we call him, the famous Ronaldo gentleman who has now departed us. We had a little memorial service for him, and Reverend Ann called on me to lead the prayer because she thought I was a preacher.
Praise the Lord.
And through the grace and power of Jesus Christ,
hallelujah,
I was able to say a few words.
Joel, she just didn't think he was the preacher for any reason. Some dummy in the corner told him. Dennis walks in and somebody goes, "Well, there's the preacher. Here comes the preacher." So everybody thought he's the preacher. Next thing we
You
know,
should have been there,
Joel. Next thing we know, he's leading the prayer like John the Baptist out here.
No. I would say.
But Dennis did a really heartfelt, wonderful prayer for Steve. I thought it was an outstanding job, Dennis. I didn't get a chance to give you a pat on the back.
If you ever saw the Blues Brothers,
I was scared. But when JP stood by, I tensed up.
Listen, I was gonna have to go after JP, and I said, "Well, listen, if JP go, I'm just gonna shut the show. I'm just gonna be quiet. I'm not gonna follow JP."
So JP, you said we got to call her both.
Yeah, you'll never believe who it is.
Who is it, JP? What are you waiting on? Gosh,
He's
Lee.
on already.
Well, who is it?
Steve McKee.
Hey, Steve, you there?
Hey, Steve.
Hey.
You must have just got home.
Yeah, just pulling in the driveway, listening to the show all the way home like we do every week. And enjoy it.
Well,
Sound
thanks.
like y'all guys having a great time.
Oh, we always.
We're trying to keep Dennis and Will laughing before they just walk out the back door when
Steve,
nobody's looking.
I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting those officials out of the stadium without any incidents.
I was kind of worried for a little bit. I was kind of worried, but I called another officer up there saying, "Hey," on the radio. I said, "Assist me getting these officials off the field here."
Well, I'm glad you were there to protect their security, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But Steve's been doing that for what, 26 years now?
Yeah, this is my 26th year, I think, doing security there.
Well, Steve, I understand you go to church with JP.
Oh,
Give us the lowdown on JP.
Oh,
He sits on the other side of the church, Dennis. I tell you exactly what he does.
I've known him since he was a little boy, yeah, and he's always been at church, and great family he comes from. He helps run the sound system there at church, and I always enjoy to be around. He's a really good guy.
Oh, there you go. JP.
And
That's our JP. You talking about our JP, Mr. Steve? You sure?
Yeah.
This JP?
He's a good guy.
Lord Jesus.
We're going to start calling him John.
We're going to have to say, maybe if I call him John, he'll treat me a little bit.
He must see him during the middle of the day when he's awake.
Big John.
Big John. There you go.
Yeah, we've two churches we've been together at. We left one. He followed me there. I was like, well.
Oh, he followed you there.
Yeah, he followed me there.
We call that hot pursuit.
Well,
Lord Jesus.
If y'all need any good Thanksgiving prayers, folks, Dennis is taking donations to his church.
And me and Mr. Davis go way back, too. He used to be my teacher when I was at Crest Middle School.
Oh, you're making me old. Of course, Sunday's my birthday, and I will be old.
Well, happy birthday.
How old will you be, son?
Mine was last week.
Be proud of it.
Be proud of it.
What birthday was it, Steve?
Yeah, mine was last week. You asked how old I was?
Yeah, 22.
Just a little bit above that.
But his wife's 22. Angela's 22.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
Steve,
Sunday you'll be.
I am proud to say that come Sunday I will be 71.
Really?
Oh, man. Congratulations. You sure don't look like it.
No, he don't. There's no way. I thought he was the same. Now. So
I wasn't expecting that.
Hey, that is Dennis's 50th anniversary of his 21st birthday.
You got it, my man. And hoping for 50 more, but I don't think I'll get there.
Yeah, I was asking Dennis tonight. I said, "Where's y'all station located now?" So I was listening last week. You were talking about having all that food. I was gonna make a drive-by, but I think y'all out of the county now, aren't you?
Well, the studios are based in Cherryville. We've got towers in Cherryville, Lincoln, and Shelby now, and we're sitting in Cherryville now.
Forest City too.
Yeah, we're about to add the Forest City Tower, and we're sitting in Cherryville now eating sagebrush chicken.
Oh, okay.
Y'all can swing by.
I mean, you can go. It's plenty of chicken in there. Just don't.
You just gotta fight JP for it. He misses breaks and all kinds. As soon as the food comes in, you can forget a commercial getting played.
Leave the broccoli alone. Y'all come home and have all the chicken.
Tonight, I was carrying the food in. I hadn't even got in the room, and before I could set the tray down with the food, here's JP.
He's a Wolverine.
I
mean,
he had his teeth in and everything.
Just call me Logan.
do y'all have to tie him in the
Big John.
pew when y'all have
Big John.
Sunday
Big
dinner in the
John.
church?
Big John.
Yeah, he's always first in line.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Go there.
Thrown under the bus, JP. Y'all got to talk about that one.
But yeah, I thank y'all, and we enjoy y'all every week coming home. Like I said, we work the games every week, and as soon as the game's over, we turn it on, listen to y'all, and really have a good time. And even though we had a little game tonight with no loss, I'm still as cheerful hearing y'all on the way home.
Well, we're glad we could put a laugh and a smile on one of Cleveland County's finest.
Well, I appreciate that.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, we'll see y'all later.
Thank you, Steve. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, Joel.
What's the matchup?
You guys get to travel to Asheville next week.
Who you got?
I'm looking forward to it.
A.C. Reynolds.
Who you got, Joel?
Now Joel, in the last 2 weeks, y'all put a hurting on some of these teams on the road. Is this the Kings Mountain bottom spanking tour around the state of North Carolina?
This is we mad because we number 10 tour.
I mean,
This time we're going to.
we all know they're not the 10th best team in the West.
We just did
whatever
y'all a
way,
favor,
whatever way
Joel.
to reorganize somehow in the seeds, something's
We-
got to happen.
we-
But you got to win the games you got to win. So you know
That's
they
true.
did.
That's true.
You play who you play.
I just, like I said, I was trying to figure out where Statesville was tonight because that's the team that beat West Rowan at the end of the season. 27-24 in overtime. So I was like, I said, I know that.
Don't take a look at that game tonight. Chris didn't ring the bell on defense.
And,
They
but
let them
but I
have
knew
it.
how athletic West Rowan was because when I seen the highlights of the Statesville West, I said, them boys are big. They kind of
Yeah.
And
There's some grown youngins down there in West Rowan.
Listen, my wife, me and my wife was watching the game before I came over here, and we was talking about that number 74 for West Rowan.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't
Oh, you talking about the D line?
Oh my goodness!
I know exactly what you're talking about. When he flipped through, he stood up. And I hadn't been looking at him at all. I was watching the Crest offense, kind of just paying attention. And he stood up, and I was like, "How are they blocking him?" and then I watched a few plays. I'm like, "They're not. They're not." Because the fourth down play, he blew that play up, and I thought y'all made the mistake. Y'all ran a man in motion, and the quarterback wasted time on the fake, and that just allowed him to just get right to him instead of just, hey, let's just run away from him on this play.
But that's where they was getting yard, where they was faking
Right, yeah.
going up there
Right.
and they was getting away. That's the play. They should have went away
The
from it.
closest guy that, like they said, I knew West Rowan had a guy because Kannapolis posted a picture of anybody recruiting this big old guy. And then they said the only one can match up with him was the guy from Statesville, and they got a big, he's the number 55, and they got a big giant on their team. I was like,
I wonder if them boys would like to move to Bowling Springs.
I get him a ticket.
Hey, Marty.
Y'all are so
Hey, Marty.
Y'all are so shameless. What number did you say it was? 74 is on the
74.
roster. It must have been something different. I thought it was 40 something.
No.
There's a D tackle named Zeke Biggers, 6'5", 300, number 44. That I think you might maybe it was
Maybe it was.
I thought it was a 40 something. I couldn't see the second number, so maybe it was. They had another kid out there, offensive lineman, 6'3", 305, and another defensive lineman, 6'3", 260. That's 92.
No.
But I think it was 44.
44.
Zeke Biggers.
6'5".
He's a junior.
Lord Jesus.
He's still growing.
He got a year eligible. And that's sad. He's a junior in high school. And
He's
the
still
truth
growing.
is, he is still growing.
He's still growing.
Good Lord of
the
mercy.
only thing I was worried about tonight's game with Kings Mountain was that front four of Statesville because they had
Got some big boys too.
Their front four was like,
And he got a mama on.
Well, y'all not little, Joel.
And he got a mama on the other side saying, "Y'all
I
get out my
I just
baby."
told everybody.
Yeah, I know, right?
I just told everybody they just don't play the schedule like we do. And I said Kings Mountain's going to show.
Turn that mic a little bit towards you there, Joe.
And Kings Mountain is going to smack them in the mouth, and that's what we had to do tonight.
Well, y'all had that little chip on your shoulder ever since you came over to the ranch and lost. And I think actually that was the best thing that happened to the Kings Mountain team. Y'all got together and decided we ain't gonna do that no more.
So AC Reynolds this year lost to East Forsyth to start. They started off 0-2 and they haven't been beat since. So they lost to East Forsyth, 35-23. They lost at Shelby. Shelby put 58 on them, 58-21 on the Rockets. And then they won 35-3 at 0 and 50-0 Irwin, 54-0 Inca, 54-6 North Henderson, 51-0 Tuscola, 62-7 Asheville. They haven't played a competitive game since the Shelby game. Every game's been by 40. The closest one was TC Roberson, 37-7.
Didn't we scrimmage them early, Will?
Yes. Yeah, in the Jamboree. Y'all see them in the Jamboree? They cakewalked through their season since losing to Shelby big time. So you know you can always we always talk about who you played and how you match up against everybody. So that you guys, when AC Reynolds look, Joel, your offense is it might be the most balanced offense we've seen around in a while with the weapons they have.
Now that Mac is back,
you got two runners.
Right.
You got two running backs that are extremely good. You got the two outside deep guys and your slots.
And your tight end is 6'4", 240, he's 250.
And a quarterback that can get the ball to them.
And the quarterback that when you line up near the goal line and the 5-yard line, he's a danger for a quarterback draw.
Right.
And they'll run that at you. So, like, when you watch, I was telling someone, like, Statesville this week, I feel bad for him watching the West Henderson tape because Kings Mountain scored every single possible way you could against them. And I don't know how you game plan it. And if you don't have the athletes that Shelby does, the defense, I mean, you've got to be able to cover everything. Like, a lot of teams are like, you know, let's take this one guy out, and then we'll concentrate on everything else. Honest to goodness, if I'm another team, opposing team, I don't know where to start.
Well, you start with prayer.
You start with Dennis. Give Dennis a call. He'll get you going.
No,
well, that's like you said, like Monroe. They shut down Kobe Pacer, but we had other guys step up like Quint Davis and.
If you're putting a safety to help with Kobe,
Yeah.
what are you doing about Raquelin and Brooks?
There's three other guys on the other side. You put Kobe over here by himself. You put the safety
Davis
over
and
the
man to
side,
man?
and you can't man the other guys.
I just don't know what Kings Mountain feel. To me, they feel like
Only thing that's hurting Kings Mountain is when they shoot themselves in the foot with the turnovers.
Watch your turnovers is the biggest thing with you guys this season, and your defense is excellent. Just in the close game, the worst game they had, they gave up 21 and they played you guys a couple weeks later and gave up 40 on y'all and lost by 6. They lost a combined 11 points this year.
Yeah.
So
how many
was that a lot of turnovers in that Crest game? I don't remember that as much as I'm sure you guys.
You gotta look at the two teams that they lost to.
Right.
The only two losses they have is to Crest and Hunter Huss.
Well, just like when they played Monroe, 5 turnovers. They was down 20-0, just like that.
I was watching that. I mean, I did that game down there
in the
Monroe.
first half. Then as soon as we cut down our turnovers and finally get going.
Joel, you fellas, came in basically in 3rd place in the conference, and the number 1 and the number 2 seed have lost. But I think Kings Mountain, and I said this before when you got the draw, you didn't want to see them coming. I think you guys have got the best chance to go ahead and bring home a title.
What do you think about, them having to go on road? Does that add the chip to their shoulder that helps them instead of being at home
game
with no company?
And
if you had that,
just burns them up just a little bit
more. Does
more.
that give you a little more work?
Yes.
Like, this is a work. We're
makes
going to work this week.
You want to take the attack show on the road.
You're more aggressive, and you got that beautiful field over there, and you can't play on that beautiful field. You got to go play in somebody's swamp somewhere.
Does AC have? Do they have turf now?
Yeah,
a lot
I
of
think
those,
they do.
A lot of those mountain schools do now.
Yeah, everybody from Hendersonville all the way to Murphy, they all got turf.
Because the grass don't grow up there
on the hills.
Well, I remember reading about it in the papers. They said some of them mountain teams, they just got tired of playing in
mud.
Right. I totally understand it. Shelby and Burns paint their lines blue and black at this time of year. You guys need to paint them green. You barely see those white lines out there.
Well,
but I ain't gonna lie though. I think because everybody's now all the mountain schools they're doing smack talking who's got the best looking stadium with all the turf, and honestly, between Asheville and AC Reynolds, they got the nice looking field.
Yeah.
And
They just
Brevard,
had something
and
to put
Brevard
on.
has got an old stadium, but with that new turf, man, it's nice.
I tell you where I'd like to watch a football game. I have not been to football. I've been to basketball. It's Cherokee. Have y'all been? Any of y'all been up to the school at all?
I have not been up to the school, but
no.
I heard it is magnificent.
Have you been up to Catawba College basketball?
Yes.
Because that gym is pretty much almost the exact same as Cherokee's. High school.
Yeah.
The scoreboard in the middle, walking track basically around the top. It's almost exactly like
Kevin,
going up at Catawba. Beautiful, just beautiful basketball.
I'll go back 30-something years when I was coaching in college.
And you put everything on black, and now Cherokee has a nice high school.
No. Cherokee we had one of the top basketball camps in the nation at that time. We had a lot of XCC players.
Oh, yeah, Tom's on hold. Sorry about that.
However,
let's put him on.
When the Cherokee guys
JP.
came down, and I talked to the guy who was a Gardner Webb guy who was up there as their coach, every year at the end of the year, they would give every kid football, basketball, shoes, uniforms. They charter a bus, pay for their camp and everything, because they had so much federal money. If they didn't,
Maybe not. Tom called back.
If they didn't spend it, they had to give it back. So you know what they did? They spent it.
Oh, beautiful statement. Tom called back. I'm so sorry. I can't see your
I'll
name.
shut up, Tom.
I couldn't see his name at the corner of my eye. It's not your fault, Joe. It's over in the corner. I wasn't looking at. Tom, call back. I just heard you hung up. I think. It's funny. We won't talk about that Kiwan prior tonight. Real quick, while we're waiting on him, let's go over the top 10 because the show's almost over.
Are we gonna run that scores?
We can do the scores. Go. Let's do scores, and then we'll do top 10 while we wait on Tom. Let's do scores while we wait on Tom.
All right. It was Mountain Heritage over Owen, 18-7. It was East Randolph falling to West Stokes, 26-21. Reedsville over Newton Conover, 49-13. AC Reynolds over Northeast Guilford, 40-0. Hunter Huss falls to Charlotte Catholic, 34-20. Brevard over Chase, 48-21. Elton over Andrews, 41-13. Thomas Jefferson's over Albemarle, 40-0. It was Watauga over A.L. Brown, 55-27. Northwest Cabarrus over North Guilford.
And you know who that was. That's one of our Crest guys, Mr. Gentry.
That's Mr. Gentry. 56-35. Murphy over Winston, 64-44. Mitchell over Polk County, 28-0. Swain County over Bessemer City, 38-12. East Surrey over Starmount, 52-0. In 2 overtime, Mountain Outer Charter over Mount Airy, 42-35. Allegheny falls to Robinsonville, 40-22. Weddington over Parkland, 56-6. Mount Tabor over Dudley, 37-21. It was the West Lincoln Rebels over the Red Raiders of South Point, 29-21. Kings Mountain Mountaineers, 38. Statesville Greyhounds, 7. Shelby Golden Lions, 49. Macon Blue Devils, 7. West Rowan Falcons, 35. Crest, 30. It was the Burns Bulldogs over the High Brighton Panthers, 52-35. And that bottom score, 42-10. I think that's North Lincoln over Pisgah.
And that's it.
That's all the scores.
All right. Kevin.
So, we got Tom?
Telephone call. Who we got?
Set up.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Tom.
That's funny. All I can tell you is Bo knows.
Yeah, Bo knows football tonight. 413 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's a pretty good night.
How many carries did he have tonight?
42 carries.
42 carries. That's almost 10 yards a carry. Almost 10 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a phenomenal night, and they just couldn't stop him, and they just kept feeding him the football. I mean, it was when it gets to this point in the playoffs, you're going to put the ball in the hands of your best player and say, hey, if you can't stop him, he's going to have to keep hitting the ball. Now, they
worked a few other guys in. Leslie had a 42-yard touchdown. Squeezy kept the ball a couple times, but it was Keywan Pryor's show, and it was really just an amazing night for that kid. I think it was the 23rd best, 26th best performance, something like that in state history. So congratulations to him, and great job by our coaching staff. Just found what they couldn't stop and kept feeding Keywan the rock, and they're on to the third round and a visit up to North Lincoln next week.
Well, as you know, they have a pretty good team up there this year, Tom, and the Burns folks travel well. They'll be going over in that direction. You and Ken Link and Matt are going to be videoing that game for us. Give us your thoughts and projections on the game for next week.
Well, if you look at common opponents, I think North Lincoln took care of East Lincoln pretty easily. They took care of Newton Conover pretty easily. It's kind of the same result for Burns. I think the question for North Lincoln is are they going to be able to catch Keywan? And are they going to be able to, prevent him from getting his big plays? If North Lincoln can force that and force Burns to beat you in other ways, I mean, and Burns can. I mean, they've got a pretty good vertical passing game. They've got Jaquan Degree, Casey Twitty, and KJ Leslie and some others that can make some plays, but you have to stop Keywan, and I think that Burns is pretty committed to him being the workhorse, and if we can slow that down, if North Lincoln can slow that down, they have a good chance. I've got to take a peek at the film for North Lincoln. I will say that the Perry kid for High Brighton, I was very impressed. He's an excellent runner. He had a long 90-yard touchdown pass. He had a 61-yard touchdown run. Pretty dynamic athlete, but you just can't overcome 4 turnovers, Dennis. I mean, they just put it on the ground too much.
Yeah.
And North Lincoln's going to have to take care of the football, or it's going to be a long night for them, I have a feeling. But, they're very solid. Looking at their scores, it seems like North Lincoln's very solid defensively. And I thought that might be an issue with High Brighton, as they were pretty suspect on defense. And really, the Burns offensive line, you can't really say enough about those guys. David Jennings, Landon Hoyle, Braxton Bivens, Luke Lytle, Jesse Love, big guys up front. I mean, they just did a great job and made those holes. I was real impressed with the blocking schemes. I mean, everything they dialed up the blocking scheme seemed to work. So North Lincoln's going to really, if their front 4, front 5, or whatever they run, they're going to have to win that battle in the trenches. And Burns, that's definitely the strength of their team. Outside of Pryor, which is the obvious, their offensive line is very, very strong, very good, very experienced, and that's going to be a handful for anybody they face here if they're fortunate enough to make it to the state championship.
Well, Tom, we gave a shout out earlier. I thought one of the successes of Burns that's been overlooked some this year is exactly what you talked about. Their front 4, their line on offense and defense. I think people tend to think, Pryor's all Burns has got. He's not. You guys are playing team ball, and I give you the tip of the hat for that, and especially to those big guys up front.
Yeah, on the defensive side of the ball, you got, the nose guard that got him back this week, Al Goodson. He had a great game. Setzer had his run-of-the-mill 15 tackle game and had an interception. And, Ty Goodson, Al's brother's been playing some good defense, and Brett Bivens, and Nick Jackson was getting after the quarterback a few times to call his name out. And, I want to also talk a little bit about Azari Brown, who's coming there. Burns has had an injury. Thompson's been out, I believe it's Haynes has been out, and Azari Brown's stepped in and really done a good job of that defensive back position. So there's been some guys, have that next man up mentality, and I think Azari Brown's been playing some pretty good football there in relief. So they've been doing a good job on that side of the football. I've just been real impressed. That was our weakness last year. Gave up, but they've shored things up this year, and you're not going to get very far in the playoffs if the defense isn't playing well. I gave up 35 points, but a couple of bottom touchdowns at the end of the game. I thought they played pretty well defensively tonight.
Well, Tom, I know this sounds like a little silly question here with Pryor's night running the ball, but how was your passing game tonight? Did you guys even throw it?
Through it a little bit. Like I said, the first play of the second half that we ran on offense, High Brighton had it first. They fumbled. We got it. Picked it up on their 42, and it was beautiful pass. KJ Leslie caught the touchdown pass. So they can throw it vertically when they want. There's a couple other times they tried, not with a whole lot of success, but they didn't throw it too much. They can throw it vertically when they need to.
Yes.
But like Boykin said, if you're averaging 10 yards a carry, why are you gonna throw it? I mean, I nobody's gonna throw the ball if you're getting 10 yards to carry on the ground. Plus, I mean, this wasn't prior, like we said. C.J. Hopper came in there late at the game, and I think he had about 50 or 60 yards rushing on that.
Listen, he's the
on a couple
closer.
possessions.
He closes out the game. You dash and gash with Bo, and y'all close it out with C.J. I would not be in the fourth quarter wanting to run up against C.J. Hopper. I would not want to have to face that kid.
Yeah, now you got some 190-pound kid with fresh legs running everybody up. I mean, it's just like there's no let up, and as I said, the offensive line is creating those holes. You know, whether it's Hopper or Pryor, seeing Ty Goodson back there. I mean, there's really been no let up. If we go with a different back, there's no let up because the offensive line is doing their job. It's kind of like the Denver Broncos a few years back. It didn't matter who they had in that offense, that rushing offense. Whoever was the running back was going to get 100 yards. I mean, that's kind of the way we are now. No matter who's back there, they're going to get 100 yards, 200 yards, 400 yards. I think you really have to, I keep going back to it, but you got to tip your cap to the offensive line. You're not going to get 400 yards unless your offensive line is doing an outstanding job.
And they are, Tom. They are. I give them credit.
So next week, big game. I'm glad is Tim going to be in the booth with us? Kevin's at the plan?
Nope.
Tim's going to be in the booth.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, it's Tim and Kenny Link and Tom.
Okay.
I thought it was just Matt and Tom with Ken coming in.
No.
But I don't own the place. So.
It's Ken and Tim.
We'll figure it out.
Matt will be running the camera.
Okay. Hey, here comes Kevin. We'll ask him. Kevin, who's in the booth next week at North Lincoln?
Tom and Ken and Matt.
There you go.
Oh, so Tim won't be in the booth next.
No, Tim is out of town.
Tim's out of town.
Yes. So it'll be Tom and Ken Link and Matt Royster with Trent Marty on the camera.
There you go.
All right. Well, they had heard. I didn't know if we got a sponsor, but that's great. Not sure who's sponsored.
Yeah, Robbie Morgan.
Robert Morgan Cremation Funeral Service from Bowling Springs.
Okay, so Mr. Morgan, thank you very much. If you're listening, we appreciate it, and our fans will appreciate it. So looking forward to that next week, Kevin. Should be a good ball game.
Yes, sir. It's going to be an outstanding game. I'm excited about it. North Lincoln's been calling out Cleveland County all year.
They've just been calling out Chevy.
They didn't think Burns didn't have to deal with Burns first.
We'll send Burns over there to take care of that.
I think they overlooked Burns like a lot of people overlook
No need
Burns
to
for
bother
the season.
Kings Mountain or Shelby.
Tom, there was polls
over
that you guys weren't even in because people didn't even know y'all were in the 2A and stuff this year going into the season.
Yeah, so it's going to be a good one next week, and I'm looking forward to it. So I'll let you guys close it down. Do a great job. Thanks, Kevin. I guess I'll see you in the morning.
All right, buddy. Real quick, if folks watch, I know we got folks watching online. We are having a little sound issue for our online. Our radio listeners have clear, wonderful sound. We got something going on with our electrical boxes in there called some type of buzz, but you guys can still hear us. Thanks for watching us. Thanks for staying tuned. Hopefully by the morning I might have some of that fixed out and worked out. Folks, tune in Saturday morning sports talk. Will comes in and picks up a biscuit, not on his way to work. Terry, we don't even know if we're going to get a biscuit in the morning because he's going to be celebrating all night.
Not on his way to work. It is literally like 15 minutes of
out of the
opposite way.
We'll drive to another city to get a biscuit. Tell us how good the Packers are, and then go home. Then go to work.
Terry, it just dawned on me. I think you and I should get a little extra something for being the food delivery guys as well.
Yeah, that needs to be in our arrangements or something.
Terry, are you ready to do this top 10 tonight, Terry?
Hey, Terry. We gonna go get. I want some of that stomp water y'all gonna be drinking up there.
Hey, tell about this leak, Terry.
All I know is as I look at this poll, we are Well, I'll put it like this: we are better than Crest.
Ooh.
You probably are this week.
And we're gonna finish ahead
Now,
of Crest.
now,
I
now,
don't
Terry,
even see Crest.
coming into tonight, Crest was last in the Cleveland County standings, weren't they?
They were.
Well,
And
we
they
were
were
picked to finish third in the
and
conference.
the first team knocked out of Cleveland County, so the power poll was doing a pretty good, decent job there.
No, we don't mean nothing. It's a tough way to lose. I mean, Crest had a great
That
year.
was horrible way to lose.
Well, it was. It was.
That last touchdown that got called back, we can debate that.
We can't debate it. It's over with.
Yeah.
West Rowan is playing catch.
We big
All
boys.
right,
We
we
take
got,
our
we
loss.
got about 3 minutes to do
Go
this
ahead,
top
Terry.
10.
Go ahead, Terry. Go ahead.
Hit it.
Oh, I'm good.
I'm good.
I am
Terry's
good.
Terry's good.
I'm
All right,
proud.
let's do the top 10, then we'll do the matchups for next week. All right, getting knocked out of the poll this week. We had a bunch of teams drop in the poll. Bedford City gets knocked out. South Point gets knocked out. Newton Conover, Chase, Maiden, Crest, and Hunter Huss all knocked out of the poll. We had 14 teams coming in. Half of them are gone. 7 gone, 7 left. Number 14, the Bedford City Yellow Jackets. Number 13, the South Point Red Raiders. Number 12, the Newton Conover Red Devils. At number 11, the Chase Trojans. Number 10, the Maiden Blue Devils. Number 9, the Crest Chargers. Number 8, the Hunter Huss Huskies. And that's all the teams that have been knocked out of the playoffs and the seasons are done. That leaves us 7 teams left, Terry. 7 teams left. We've got 2 1A, 4 2A, 1 3A. We've got 2 South Fork 2A, 2 Southwest 2A. Cleveland County versus Lincoln County next week. It's the battle of the Tri-County Middle School Championship has come to realization.
Y'all
Well,
don't want
I
none
want
of
to
that.
say one thing about it, though. I mean, as we're sitting here and we're going into week 3, y'all, we've got another state championship maybe with somebody coming out of that bracket.
No
that's gonna
matter
be
what.
there.
No matter what,
Yeah.
we're going to be in championship weekend
Maybe
now,
more
folks.
than one, Terry.
Could be.
In the
I'm
2A,
just talking about in that
the
2A
2A, we're
West.
guaranteed a state championship game,
Yeah.
guys, because we
Somebody
have
out of
Shelby,
our
West
area.
Lincoln, Burns, and North Lincoln. So we're going to be at the state championships for the 2A no matter what, and then we're going to be pulling hard for the Mountaineers to make it as well in the 2A, and maybe Thomas Jefferson gets up in there.
Don't forget Mount
Mountain Island Charter.
All right, top 7. Thomas Jefferson is number 7. Number 6, Mountain Island Charter. And Terry, after winning your first playoff game last week, and the second playoff game in school history, undefeated at home, you beat the South Point Red Raiders. Does the Red Raiders have a losing record against the Rebels, Terry?
They do.
Have the Rebels ever beat have the Raiders ever beat the Rebels, Terry?
They're
I'm
undefeated.
telling you, it's hard to beat us up there at West Lincoln.
There are some. Listen, between the football loss and the cannon, there are some shook souls in Belmont tonight. I'm telling you right now. Number 5, the West Lincoln Rebels, folks. Congratulations on the season you're having up there. I talked to the guys before the season, and Pendergrass, he felt really confident about this year, as well as Cannon and the other guys. Just a bunch of good guys to talk to. Chandler Carpenter I met as well, and Dylan Beam. Dylan Beam's got the most prettiest hair you've ever seen.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Wait a minute, hold on.
He's got
Never
pretty
mind.
hair to this there, yeah, I'm telling you that right. It was just long. It looked
Let
gorgeous
me
hair.
get this straight.
Uh-huh.
You are now looking at players' hair.
If you didn't see Landon Xander's hair,
Oh,
ever, Troy Polamalu,
Yeah, it's the Troy Polamalu.
he's got some outstanding hair as well.
He has, but you know.
Okay, keep going.
All right,
Never
number
mind,
4.
never mind.
The North Lincoln Knights are number 4. Knights have only lost 1 game this season. They lost to a 3A team, the Parkwood Rebels.
Parkwood, yeah.
Number 3, folks, the Burns Bulldogs.
That's for you, Tommy.
They'll be going to face the North Lincoln Knights. So next week we've got number 3 versus 4. And then Shelby, we've got 2 versus 5 with Shelby and West Lincoln, as the Shelby Golden Lions are now our number 2 team. And the What's Up Sharper KDC broadcast a power poll. And the Kings Mountain Mountaineers, Joel, you're back to where you were a few weeks ago before you lost 2 in the conference. You're back
That's
to number
for you,
1
Joel.
as a team in the KDC broadcast a
Now
power
we're
poll.
just gonna have to get it done next week.
Got to get it done. Got to go to Asheville.
I think
I
think the angry road tour was the way
I'm
for
gonna
y'all
use
to
Terry's words this week. Win.
That's right.
All right, guys, just give me the winner. Let's do this as fast as we can, one person at a time. We're going to go around the table. We'll start with Joel, okay? East Surrey Mountain Island Charter.
go. Mountain Island Charter.
Jeez, Will, you just
My bad.
terrible
My
direction
bad.
follower over here. Terry, Swain County at Mitchell.
Oh, Swain County at Mitchell. Mitchell.
Dennis, Elkin hosts Thomas Jefferson.
Joel Hull and the Elkin Elks will send the Thomas Jefferson Griffons back to Moulsborough.
Will Boykins, West Lincoln at Shelby.
Shelby.
I'm going to leave this one to Terry. Burns at North Lincoln.
Oh, this is mine?
Yeah, your name's Terry.
It's going to be a good game, but I think Burns will come out close by 3.
All right.
Joel.
West Oaks at number 1 Mountain Heritage.
I'll take Mountain Heritage.
Dennis, Brevard at Reedsville.
Reedsville.
Will, West Rowan at Charlotte Catholic.
West Rowan.
The Falcons out of the 9th seed. Joel, Kings Mountain at AC Reynolds.
Right now, I'm going to Kings Mountain by a touchdown.
All right, after that happens, Terry, Kings Mountain goes into Charlotte Catholic.
That's where they lost last year, was it not?
Yeah.
Such a tough
Revenge?
place to play. Charlotte Catholic.
Terry, the poo-poos, all you people in Cleveland County, send your hate letters to Terry Reinhardt at 1313
time,
Mockingbird Lane.
I'm going with
I
Joel
think-
and the Mountaineers
I think they do.
down at Kepler Stadium.
I like the Road Warriors on this. It just gives you something.
The only thing different about Charlotte Catholic, they do not make mistakes.
Yeah.
All right, Kings Mountain's number 1, Shelby 2, Burns 3, North Lincoln 4, West Lincoln 5, Mountain Island 6, and Thomas Jefferson 7 in our power poll. Next week's games on KTC Broadcasting. We will have Kings Mountain at AC Reynolds on video. We will have Burns at North Lincoln on video. And maybe West Lincoln at Shelby if we can get together the right sponsors over there. First Federal, maybe over there in Lincoln County. Give us a call. And any of you, anybody wants to sponsor these games so we can get this Shelby West Lincoln game and any of these others on video.
$500.
Terry, we're going to state championship no matter what, aren't
That's
we?
right.
Yeah.
You sure
All right. For you folks next week, we'll see you guys on KTC Broadcast. And listen tomorrow morning, Saturday Sports Talk. We'll talk a little bit about these games tomorrow. NFL, NBA. Terry's NASCAR champion, Kyle Busch, won. Got to talk about that. Baseball, NBA,
And Jimmy
NFL.
Johnson's retired.
Yeah, sad things, Dennis. We'll talk about it. In the morning. See you next week. This has been the Renato Automall post-game show. Steve Robey, have a pleasant good evening and good night, folks. We'll see you next week. KDC Broadcasting.
All right, let's move on down to number 8, the second-ranked poll. This is Katie, also unbeaten. They have one of the most underrated running backs in the country as well. Yeah, Rob Hoffman, man, he's been balling this year. He's got that big grip.